Hey, everybody, welcome to our latest Spotlight series. We are here today with Caryn Shender, who is she's a sleep consultant. She works with parents and infants and toddlers, owns and runs a company called Sleep Tight Tonight here in Northeast Atlanta, where she works with all sorts of families to help them, as her business says, sleep better, babies sleep better, parents sleep better, establishing good family habits that are long-standing to make everybody happier and less cranky and able to get through their days with little ones. So Caryn and I work together a lot because as a PT who works with moms, we're seeing a lot of new moms who might struggle with sleep, or their babies might struggle with sleep that throws off their routine. So wanted to introduce Caryn to all of you and say welcome and hear a little bit about what she does and how we can all work together to help women have uh, better life experiences, better times, getting adjusted to having babies in the house. So Caryn, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me and my 5-month-old.
And she's got her little guy with her. So she not only teaches this and shares it, but she lives the
Live
life
it.
herself with two little kids. So as most of us do, we have our own experiences with our own families. So why don't we start off just why don't you just tell everyone a little bit about who you are, what you do, what your business is?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Caryn Shender, and I am the owner of Sleep Tight Tonight. We work with kids anywhere from newborn to 6 years old, and parenting is hard. And I make sleep easy. So I help teach kids how to fall asleep independently, whether it is a newborn learning how to self-soothe, how to handle those, the witching hour, or how to get through those first couple months. For those infants, how to um, get through naps. What are some strategies for naps? How to stop your child from waking up 18 times overnight, or how to do a bedtime routine to stop those early morning wakes. All those little things. I also help toddlers who are transitioning from crib to their bed. That's a tough transition for a lot of kids. So I provide boundaries and scripts and how to handle that because it's a tough transition. Little kids don't have that impulse control. So I help parents get through that and get their families sleeping through the night.
Yeah, so you work mostly, so obviously you work with families, but the work you do is mostly with the kids, or it's mostly with the parents?
It's mostly with the parents.
Yeah.
Um, Especially the older kids. Sometimes I'll get on videos and I'll talk with them because all of my work is virtual. I don't go into homes. So I'll do FaceTime with some kids and say, I heard you did such a great job sleeping through the night. But mostly it's parent coaching and helping the parents learn what the different cries mean, whether or not you have to go in to address a situation or not, because not all cries are the same. Not all cries are hangry cries, right? That doesn't mean that they're hungry. Um, so I don't do cry it out. That is not a method that I start with. People aren't going to hire me and say, you know, close the door and don't go back till morning. So I teach the different sounds of cries so you know when and how to respond to your child.
Gotcha. So there's a lot of different programs out there, Moms on Call and things like that. How is Sleep Tight Tonight? How is your program and what you do different maybe than what some of the other groups out there are
Yeah,
doing?
that's a great question. So, there's taking care of babies and there's moms on call and there's a lot of different options, but what I provide is the accountability and the in real time support. So you can read, a schedule online for moms on call, and that's great, but that's to kind of for the average baby. And most babies aren't average, right? Like everyone has their specific questions that, and sleep training comes with a lot of questions. There's a lot of doubt that comes with it. And so you might not get that from an online post. So I provide that accountability, that encouragement that this is normal, this is great, keep going. That's what you're supposed to see. Or you know what? That's not, the right approach, or that's not what we want to be seeing. Let's try this instead. Let's pivot and try this. So I really help parents feel confident with an expert in their pocket, right? Like to answer those questions.
Gotcha. So
And I should also say that I have in real time support, right? So it's not just, I'm not going to send a video and say, watch this or read this. I'm going to coach you for 3 weeks daily to get you through. And I also have continuing support. So even after we're done together, you still get access to answer those questions.
Yeah. And I think that's really important, that accountability, that personal access, that real-time kind of problem solving as things are happening in motion. So I know that's what I certainly appreciate about what you do. Um, what can people expect? I mean, other than obviously work with you, their kids are going to sleep better. It's going to make everybody's life a little easier. But like,
Life-changing.
what can families expect after working with you? Are there any other kind of like hidden benefits besides that?
Yeah, so I've heard a lot of surprising, the parents find that it's surprising that they feel closer to their children. There's a myth that, that sleep training will hurt your relationship with your child. But that's actually farther from the truth because you learn what your child needs and what they're saying, because crying is just communicating, right? Especially the younger ones, they don't know how to use those words to tell you what it is that they need. So a lot of parents find that they're better able to understand their child and they feel closer and more confident as a parent. And so that's a really cool thing. I've been called a miracle worker. I've been able to work with kids that weren't able to get help from child psychologists or pediatricians, and then they come to me and I'm able to get them sleeping through the night independently and falling asleep through the night. And parents are like, that's life changing. What did you do? Like, how did we accomplish that? Like, that is the, to wake up to that kind of like, my child slept through the night for the first time. Oh my God. I love getting those messages and I get them all the time.
That's so life changing. And I almost wish, my kids are older. I almost wish that someone like you was there for
I
me
hear that a lot.
when my kids were little. When's a good time for people to start working with you? Is this something that you do preemptively? Like, should new parents be calling right away? Should they wait to see kind of what their baby's, sleep and wake habits are? Obviously you don't ever want to get to the point where someone's just like pulling their hair out and frustrated, but sometimes that does happen too. So when is a good time for someone to reach out?
So it depends on the kid's age. So if it's a newborn, you can start reading and understanding how to soothe your child before they come along, right? So that way you get ahead of some of the soothing techniques and what different things, expectations of newborns are normal, right? But really, I tell parents, there, I work with kids up to 6 years old, so it's not too late. I have a lot of people that say like, well, my kid's already 4. Like, is it too? No, it's not too late. Um, but if whatever you're doing is no longer sustainable, if what's working for you, great, keep doing it, right? I'm not going to stop you. If you want to breastfeed your child till they're 10 years old, right? You do you. You keep doing what works. And if you get to a point where it's not working for you, it's no longer sustainable, that's where I come in and I want to help you. So I do have a lot of parents that come to me and like their hardest days, because they've had enough. And that's really where I come in because I'm not here to judge anyone. You do what works for you. And then if that's not working, that's where I come in. I tend to start with kids as young as 4 months.
Mhm.
That's a good time to start sleep training. For the newborns, it's called sleep shaping. It's just setting that foundation of healthy habits.
Got it. Yeah, and I think you bring up a good point there too, because things do change. And like you might have an infant who's perfect, and then they hit the 2-year-old mark and things start to change. So families' needs do change through time. So that's a good point. I think a lot of parents really think about sleep training with the babies. They don't think about, the toddlers
Yeah.
struggling with naps, or, as they're transitioning into like preschool, and how do we navigate those changes, and how those can really impact kids as well.
And starting daycare and like how
Yeah,
that impacts them. And, a lot of times, especially with the younger ones, their schedule changes monthly. Like
yeah,
how much sleep they need in 24 hours. It's a big picture kind of thing. So if you're not staying up on how often that their sleep needs are changing, then they might be sleeping great for the first 6 months. And then you're like, well, I've been doing the same thing for 6 months. This is what has been working, but things change every month and consistently we need to stay up on their needs. And so a lot of times that's when they'll come to me, right? Is when things are no longer working. But nothing changes, nothing changes.
Right. Oh, 100%. And I think as a parent, and this is something I tend to talk about with a lot of my moms is if your child's not sleeping, you're not sleeping. If they're not happy, you're not happy. And that stress in the household is not good for your physical health. It's not good for your mental health. And so the more
Emotional health, it's the
yeah,
foundation of everything.
the more we can do to help our kids, the more we can help ourselves. And I think that's really important that it's not just about like, I need to make these changes, but like, how can we make this change in the family that's going to help everybody? So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So you said that you work mostly virtually with families. I know you are obviously local here in Atlanta. That's how we connected through our neighborhood. But um, so families can reach out to you. The best way to find you is website. What do you think?
Yeah, so website's the best way. I'm on Instagram, not really on Facebook. I have an account, but it's not really all that active.
Okay.
But the best way to find me is through referrals, through website, through Instagram. I do classes and I do events, like mini courses and things like that, whether it's in-person trainings or virtual trainings, um, in a group setting. But most of my work is one-on-one.
Gotcha. So for those of you listening, you have a group of moms.
And
You
you can
want
find me at
you want an
sleeptight10.com.
interesting program, reach out to Caryn. She can help you. She's great. I know we've tried to link up locally and get some mom groups involved as well. So this is something I think every parent needs to know about, or every expecting parent needs to know about as they're transitioning into parenthood. So my favorite question that I like to ask everyone, and so this is what we'll close on, is what's one thing, so this is more kind of like a personal versus like a professional, what's one thing any potential client that's coming to work with you, what's one thing you would want them to know about you as they start to work with you?
About me personally,
Yeah, or like about how you work with them. I mean, I've heard a lot of different things, but yeah, what's one thing you would want them to know about you?
I think that I am very dedicated to my client's success. And I'm very loyal. I have a package that's unique and that it has continuing support because I truly want to see you succeed. I'm not going to message you for like one night and one email and say, hey, we're done. I am going to make sure that we do everything in our power to see that you're successful. Um, because I'm really, really passionate about what I do. Sleep is life-changing. So I want to help you get that sleep for your family and make sleep easy for you.
I love that. I like that commitment. I think that's something that we both share is that commitment to your clients' success.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and to close it off, what's a fun fact about you?
A random fun
Random
fact
fun
about
fact. I got a
me.
good one a couple weeks ago.
Well, since we're talking about babies here,
Mhm.
share two. One random fact is I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. I was in Africa. And the baby fact is that my son, who's now 5 months old, was accidentally born on my bathroom floor. He's my second child, and he came a lot faster than we expected, and I didn't make it to the hospital.
Wow, that's awesome.
So
That's a great fun fact, and I think it's very
and
real.
he's 10 pounds. He was born at 10 pounds.
Wow. Yeah, I like to bring that element of realness and familiarity that we're not just professionals doing our jobs, but we also understand what moms are dealing with because we're moms
Yeah,
and because we've been there too. So I think it's good to share that and have people realize that you go through probably a lot of the same struggles that the rest of us do. So
absolutely. And I'm not
what
here to judge, right? Like whatever struggles you're going through are
oh
your struggles.
100%.
I'm here to support you. I'm not here to judge you.
Yeah. Judgment-free zone. That's what I like to say.
Judgment-free zone, exactly.
Judgment-free zone. What I'm going to do, Caryn, is I will link up all your contact info on the page with this video so people know how to find you. That way, if they're watching, they can reach out, and then that'll be it. Hopefully, if you guys have any questions for Caryn, you can reach out to her directly. Don't ask me. I don't do sleep training. I take care of moms. I don't help babies sleep, but I can also point you in
I
her
do
direction.
offer free consult. So if anyone who is watching wants to just learn more about the process and learn more about me and how I can help you with your specific situation, just go to the website, sleeptighttonight.com, and fill out a free consult form and we'll get started.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen, so much. I always learn something new when I talk to people. So whether it's about what you do or who you are. So thank you for sharing. It's been great having you here today.
Thank you for having me.